Good morning, Patriot Nation. Welcome to another edition of Morning Coffee. Excuse me,
Oh, wait
in
a
the
minute.
Patriots Lab.
I'm supposed to have coffee. Just a minute.
Oh, go get
I
your
got
coffee,
this.
Mona. Mona's going to get her coffee. That means y'all have enough time to like, share, subscribe, ring that bell so y'all can get the instant notifications. We are on all platforms this morning. I hope everybody is having a blessed day. We're just gonna get up some shares out here, give everybody an opportunity to get into the live chat. Remember, if you do want to come into the lab, you already know what to do. Drop a DM, let me know, and I will bring you on board, bring you behind the stage, and then bring you in. But we're gonna let some people get up on here, get some eyeballs on here. And y'all see the title? We're gonna be talking indictment or not indictment. You make the call. You be the judge. This morning I have none other than Mama Mona, all the way from Branson, Missouri. And Patriot Nation, y'all already know who she is, so I'm gonna turn it over to her and let her introduce herself and let y'all know what's been going on. Good morning, Mama Mona.
Yeah. Well, everybody out there, if y'all heard, I'm safe. We had a big tornado, but it never did anything. We had it all off, so we're fine here in Branson, Missouri area. So per weather warnings. Uh I think it's the best fishing game Donald Trump's ever been in. He's proving they're doing it, but all they're doing is proving how unjust and unfair the justice system is. Everything he's been saying about the FBI and the DOJ and now a New York Soros bought prosecutor and governor, we know it's just, but now look out, because when he is found not guilty, as he is not guilty, okay, of anything even close to a felony, uh, it doesn't matter. According to the Constitution, you can be a felon, you can be a murderer, you can be a rapist, you can be any of those things and still run for president. Okay? You just have to have acquired the age of 35 and been a citizen of a natural or born citizen of the United States for 14 continuous years. That's all you got to do to be a president. But they're scared to death. You see, they gotta find a way, anyway, to keep him from running, whether it's give him a gag order or whatever, because they know that this man, it's not the man, it's the backing the man has. This man has 80 million voting Americans who are standing behind him and more, I believe, now with all of the shenanigans. Okay. It reminds me of a man in history, and I'm not saying that that Trump even comes close, but there was a man in history who was persecuted, he was beat, he was tried, he was hung on a cross for people, for us. He did that for us. Well, there's one of his disciples, one of his followers, one of his believers who's taken all these slings and arrows. He's taken all this beating and he's standing in the way of these demons, and they know it. He's the one standing in the doorway. He's the one that they can hang on the cross because we see what they're doing. It started the day he come down the damn escalator, because they know that this man knows what they've done. He knows how they've done it, and it goes back many, many decades working to get to this point. He knows that unless someone with his character and his tenacity takes over the White House, they're going to destroy everything we hold near and dear in America. Period. And this is just they're gasping at straws. Okay? Totally. It's never going to fly. Two prior courts threw it out, never even took up the case. Okay? And the grand jury of New York says, well, there's suspicious activity in his business records, so we're going to charge him with a felony. But that guy in the subway that beat up that lady about my age, beat her up for a $10 bill, beat her within an inch of her life. Oh, he's serving him. He got a misdemeanor and nothing else. No retribution of any sort. But Donald Trump estimate his building to be worth more than what the New York appraiser said it was worth in order to acquire a loan so he could go build another building. Come on, folks. I want one of you, just one of you, to stand up and say you have never told any fib to the IRS. Okay? I mean, that neighbor that says, hey, I love you, and on their birthday hands you a $5 bill. Do you claim it? Well, legally, you have to. Somebody turns around and says, hey, I care about you, and I want to help pay your rent, and I don't claim that on my income tax. Gosh, that's against the law. Do you know that? So, come on. I want one of you folks to chime in here in the comments and tell me you ain't never cheated on your taxes in one way or another. I know that, I'll admit it, I've had people give me birthday money and I never claimed it on my taxes. But by law, I should have. The IRS is illegal anyway. The Federal Reserve Bank decision was made on Christmas Eve with a majority of the senators present. There were 4. They did it on December the 24th at 11 p.m. How many people do you think honestly would show up to vote on a bill in the middle of the night on Christmas Eve? That's how we ended up with the Federal Reserve banking system. Check it out. Do your research. Find out just how and when we were changed from the gold standard to the Federal Reserve note. What actually happened? When did it happen? Who agreed on that? So that's where this kind of all began. It was in 1913, if you're looking for a date. December the 24th, 1913, 4 members of Congress and the Speaker showed up to vote to change us from the gold standard to the Federal Reserve Treasury note. I didn't get to vote on that. I wasn't alive in 1913, but my grandmother didn't get to vote on that. It was done by some tyrannical terrorist in a crime, I would call it, to take over the American banking system and money system. Well, now we're screwed because sorry, the US dollar has ceased to be the world currency. If we are going to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, we can't do it in American dollars no more. We got to do it in Saudi dollars. If we want to pay for imports from China, we can't do it with American dollars no more. We got to do it with Chinese yen. We used to be the gold star. Every country accepted American dollars in payment for goods. What was it, yesterday or day before yesterday? That ceased to be.
Well, we're gonna find out real soon, and we're gonna dive into, for those who've been following and watching. I appreciate it. Remember, y'all like, share, subscribe, ring the bell so y'all can get the instant notifications. Also, make sure y'all get over to YouTube and subscribe. I'm outside today, as you can tell, and I have Mama Mona in the house with me, and we're just going to dive into it because I don't have too much time. But we're going to talk about this indictment that has just taken place and has basically rocked the Constitution in a way that I never thought it would ever, it would ever be. For Donald Trump to come out as humble as he did last night, and I say humble and with all humility, soft spoken. For the first time, I seen a president that you had the sense that he took it to a different level. He took it to a different level of seriousness because for the first time, I think he realized after being fingerprinted that these people really do want to destroy me. It's no longer a game. For Alan Bragg to allow himself to be used in such a way to continue a process that everybody knows is unjust is just beyond words for me. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know
Where
where
we
we
go
go.
from here is we put that man back in the White House. That's where we go from here. No matter what. Yesterday was election day. Here in Missouri, the 4th of April was election day. Okay? And I didn't know what I was supposed to be voting on. Didn't care about it. I went to the poll. Come to find out there wasn't a ballot for me in my district. My district wasn't making any decisions this year. Okay, that's fine. But I showed up. And I'm under the opinion that if you do not show up for every election, we're going to lose this country. The way we go on from here is we canvass and we make sure that everybody's registered to vote come 2024.
Now,
No matter
hold on,
what.
Mama, let me cut you off real quick. Patriots, you need to understand one thing. You cannot afford to sit back and wait until election day. You need to muster up the courage to get out there, and I'm talking to these politicians also. Y'all need to figure out a way to muster up the courage to get out there and make your voices heard and let them know that there might not be nothing you can do about what they're doing, but you're letting them know that you are in the game. You're letting them know that When it's time, I am here and I'm prepared. Yeah, have your fun, do what you want to do. That's why they're doing what they're doing in New York, because that's one of the few places where they still have authority. So, with authority, you see which way it goes. But
They're
at the end of the
trying,
day,
Ray, they're
good.
trying to poke the bear. They're trying to get mega because we have been absolutely peaceful through everything. And they're poking the bear. They're trying to get us to do something violent. That's their
But nobody's out there. Nobody, nobody's out there. And thank you, Patriot Nation.
we
Thank you.
the streets were filled yesterday with patriots in New
Well,
York.
I mean, in a way that they thought it would be. Um, that was very subtle to what they expected. See, be, they expected that this was worse than what was taking place, that Donald
They
Trump had.
expected us to riot. They expected us as mega patriots to go out there and do something stupid. And we didn't. We're smarter than that.
That's
But
right.
we hung our flags all across this country. We hung our flags in support of our president, not the resident, but the president. Okay, we showed our support by hanging our flags. Look at your mailbox. I'll bet there's a flag in your yard, right?
Wow. Let me see. Let me since Mama Mona said that, and you know what? Let me straighten them out before I do that. Y'all bear with me a second. I wouldn't. I'll be embarrassed to show y'all flags that aren't hung properly. But since you said that, Mama Mona, if I can get this one to act properly,
Okay.
sometimes
I know
flags don't
mine's
want to.
all wrapped around the flagpole right now from the storm.
Sometimes flags don't want to act right. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. You got the big red one right there.
Yep.
And then I got that one right there.
Yep.
So when people drive by my house, see Patriots, when I talk about it, I be about it. I don't care who you are. When you drive by my crib, you already know where I stand. It's self-explanatory. I
Yeah.
ain't gotta say no more.
That's right. That's absolutely right, right? I got my red, white, and blue truck with "We the People Demand to Be Heard." I'm flying stick flags. I live in an RV park, and I got permission to go up and support a Trump. And I put out, I think, what, nine flags out in front of the park in support of Donald Trump. I got one on my house. I got one on my. I put on my car when I go anywhere. Uh, yeah. Uh, and that's the way we do it. See, this whole country should look like it did on 9/12 of 2001, right, the day after 9/11. There was flags flying from every window, every business. We got to do that. That's a
Well,
visual way of showing people just how many people don't agree with what they're doing.
well, this is the thing, Patriots. If if you're gonna live in a country and prosper in the country, and you say that you're gonna be proud of the country that you live in, Well, sometimes you gotta show it. Sometimes you gotta show it. And I don't care what country you live in, what country you're at. All countries have some sort of leadership. So
Well,
you either
this
love
is
your country and love Joe Biden and the leadership skills and qualities that he's bringing to the table. I love my country. Don't what? But I don't. Yeah, that's right.
I don't
That's
trust my
right.
government.
At this point, at this point, because at the end of the day, whew, you got to rely on your government. You got to
I,
rely on them to make sure your country's running.
but I
So
don't have to trust them. I can continue
no,
to call them, make sure I hold their feet to the fire to work for me, not for Soros or any other big corporation. You work for me. And I have to hold their feet to the fire. So I will never trust them. I will continue to call them. When they do something right, I call them and tell them they did something right. When they do something wrong, I call them and tell them that too. Because I will never trust my government. I never trust a doctor. I never trust a hospital. I'm not going to
and you
trust
you
anyone.
can't you can't trust the hospital nowadays.
You can't trust your doctor either.
Nah, because they work for the insurance companies basically.
Well, they
They're
work
they they
or
they
or
they
push drugs. Now they work for
hmm
Pfizer and Moderna. Yeah.
they're not really here to cure you. They're here to make you live with what you got and give you some stuff to sustain you with what you got, not to cure you.
Yeah. Don't
But
ever just think that you can just go out and vote for somebody and because the person you voted for won, it's all over. Okay, I voted for the person I want, and they're going to do what I want them to do because they said so in their campaign speeches. Okay, don't ever trust that. Just
no,
remember,
no.
I like Donald Trump because he's not a politician. Okay, he doesn't
Well,
talk
look at
like a
look.
politician.
No, he came out last night, and the sincerity in that man's voice. I mean, I just at the end of the day, if the American people would just say that they've had enough with the lies and just be able to accept the fact that they were lied to, they fed into their emotions, and Donald Trump's personal life is his personal life. Let this man get back to work. Let this man do his job. Make America great again. And
I want
just
somebody to go through Bragg's background. Let's do a background check on
well,
him from the
they
time he
all
was
they
born.
we gonna we all that's all of that is gonna come out because what they've done is any any little inkling of Donald Trump not wanting to disrupt the Clinton household or disrupt the Obama household because maybe God put it in him to let sleeping dogs lie and sweep it under the rug because you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. No need to ruffle nobody's feathers. All that has gone out the window. And they know it. They have they have set the bar with low hanging fruit in which Trump will prevail. On the other hand, all of the evidence of corruptness that these people have done is going to come back and serve them in a way that they can't imagine. And they know it. They know it. Their days are
They
numbered.
they have committed crimes that would put them in Gitmo. Okay. The crimes they're accusing Donald Trump of might cost him a few bucks, but that's about it. Okay. You might get a fine. I'm really upset with the judge for putting, you're going to put a gag order on a candidate for president?
Well, you see, he couldn't do that. So
He did do it.
no, he didn't. He didn't. Trump can say whatever he wants to say. He just asked Trump not to get carried away.
He's
That's
not
all.
supposed to do not incite violence in any tweets or anything. That's what the gag was.
Well, yeah, don't say. But see, that's going to be to his own. That's going to be to the judge's discretion. So Trump can wake up and say, "Great day, Patriot Nation," and they'll call that a damn rally cry, a rally
Ah,
call.
you're
So,
right. You're right, Ray. You're right. You know, when you're right, you're right. Actual and
so
factual here, huh?
yeah. So he can't win either way. Either way they do it. So he's going just like everybody been saying. He's going to stay. He's gonna stay the course because hey, he figures at this point if he go down, he gonna go down, stay in the person he was. He ain't gonna change for nobody. So
Yeah.
he's coming after Bragg. He's coming after the judge. You know, he letting everybody know the judge, the judge's daughter, worked for Kamala Harris, and now she's getting money from the Harris Biden foundations, and you know he knows all this shit. So he
That's
knows
why
this.
that's why they're
He
so
knows
scared
it's
of him.
stacked against him. He knows it. He knows it. There's the deck is stacked against him, but he don't care. He don't. Donald Trump. If Donald Trump put any weight into caring about things of big magnitude, he wouldn't be as successful a man, a businessman, a politician now. He wouldn't, and they are, like you said, Mama Mona, they are definitely scared
They are
of of
scared
of
to
what
death of
this
this man.
man,
And you know
and it's
that makes me love him even more. You know,
yeah.
I always went for the underdog. You know, I was always on the side of the turtle in the race. You know, and uh, all my life, you know, you don't pick on you don't pick on the handicap. You don't pick on the animals, and you don't pick on the children. You know, kind of moral attitude. And I think they must have been picking at this man. He must be doing something right. Otherwise, it wouldn't bother him so much.
Well, they've been picking at him for seven, going on 7 years now, and
The most
it's
investigated man in history.
and for nothing to ever come to fruition, for nothing to ever be found, for everything to be lies from the Russia collusion that we found out was funded by the Hillary Clinton and the DNC,
Mm-hmm.
from impeachment one, from impeachment two, to the Zelensky phone call, to everything they could possibly say he did. Come to find out, he didn't do, and you know it's crazy, but God works in mysterious ways. I believe, in my personal opinion,
This all had
I,
to come
I,
out
I
like this.
believe, but no, well, this way, I believe, I believe it coming out the way of the porn star narrative gave the everyday, average, ordinary American that isn't in tune with um, impeachment, isn't in tune with Russia collusion, isn't in tune. And when I say isn't in tune, they don't know really what to believe because it's too political for them. It's a lot over their head. So it had to come all the way full circle back to a prostitution, not prostitution, to a porn star, to
Who
where
signed
the
a letter
common person.
a person
Yeah,
who signed a letter and an affidavit saying there was never any relationship between me and Donald Trump. When are you people going to let that go? There was not. There was no money. There was nothing. She said that herself.
but we're not supposed to believe the written affidavit. We're supposed to believe that she was forced into doing it. Just like we're supposed to believe Michael Cohen, when Michael Cohen says, when I signed that paper stating that Trump didn't know that I paid off Stormy Daniels, I was under duress, or he knew and I was just trying to save him.
And he
Um,
went to the pen for lying. Who are you going to believe? A convicted liar?
and this is what people have to understand. This is the basis for Alan Bragg. This is the basis. He is trying to say what Trump said isn't why it went down. Now, how is he going to look into the heart and soul of Trump, or into the mind, and say what that money or whatever transactions were about wasn't to keep from humiliating his family? So he's trying to just disregard what not only the federal people said, he's trying to disregard what he initially said, why he never even brought the charge in the first place. And he's trying to negate what the first Democratic DA said. So it's like he is, for some reason, willing to sacrifice a brilliant career, because he seems like he's a brilliant young man, very smart. But he seems like for some godforsaken reason, he is just willing to throw that all away. Because, like Trump said last night, the saddest part about this is that he knows what he's doing is wrong. He knows it. So, you
But
know,
he's been paid. He's been paid by George Soros to take it to the nth degree.
yeah, you are,
You know,
you're right.
I still wish if God was to grant me one wish, it'd be for everybody to have Pinocchio noses. Wouldn't that look funny in Congress? If you looked out at Congress and everybody had Pinocchio noses and they grew an inch for every lie they told, they'd have to make the doors wider or something for people to get in and out because their noses would be too long. Lies. It's just a bunch of trumped up lies, and excuse no pun intended. Okay.
But you know the good thing about it? This is the good thing about it. This is the last time we got to go around this mountain. Before, we didn't know what the next thing was going to be. We didn't know. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen, people, patriots, whoever you consider yourself to be, you can go ahead and put that bag of popcorn in the microwave, because we have just hit showtime and it is now round 15. And they have opened up Pandora's box. They have let the toothpaste out of the tube, because there is no way, there's no way on God's green earth that this man, Donald J. Trump, will ever plead guilty, will ever go to prison. Now, I'm not going to go a stretch too far and say he won't be found guilty, because, like prominent people are saying in New York State, they'll convict a ham sandwich. And I believe that.
I
I
do too.
believe that. But
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 see,
that's not the
there's
last
always
stop.
there's always
That
federal court to go
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
appeals
yeah,
and
yeah.
take.
So New York, yeah, New York, have your fun.
It's just like the taxes thing. Donald knew there was nothing wrong with his taxes, But
Yeah.
he refused to submit them until the Supreme Court ordered him to. Once the Supreme Court did that, now we can start ordering the entire tax returns of folks like Schumer, Schiff, Pelosi, Biden, Harris, and the rest of them. Because
Don't
precedence has been said that you have to turn over your tax returns if you're an elected official.
Donald stays in everything for the long game. He stays in everything. And Patriots, they they scheduled the next court date for December 4th. Do you know how much is going to happen between now and December 4th with
And
Patriot
they
Nation?
wanted to stretch it clear up into 2024. They wanted to
But they
have
can
the hearing in
they can
January, and
do
they
that.
didn't get it. They didn't get
They
it.
can they can do that. They can do all they want to see
I said,
when
though, but that was
you
a win for us in the court case because they weren't able to stretch it into the new year. They had to hear it in December. So,
there is
yeah,
there is nothing they can do anymore. There is nothing that they can do because Mama Mona, they have lost America. The only thing is how much will America want Trump to go through? That's the key. How much? Are y'all gonna make this man ride out the whole ride? Or are y'all gonna make it so obvious that
yes, I
y'all
remember the Branson brother case is coming up again. I know it.
what's that?
The Branson brother case.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, that removes 388 of the rhinos and demons out of the Congress. Yeah, yeah. We need the Supreme Court to rule on the Bronson brother case in our favor and immediately remove those people who did not uphold their oath from office.
Yeah. We and we have quite a few of those. And they all are going to be dealt with. They all are going to be dealt with in one way or another. But
I certainly hope so that it before they put us into World War III. Okay, certainly hope that we find a way to change the hearts and minds of people to put a stop to this. Okay, it
well, if people
begins it begins with going out and getting your W-4 form from your employer and marking the box exempt at the bottom of your W-4 form with your employer so they can no longer automatically withhold money to the federal government out of your paycheck every week. We start by cutting off their allowance. Just like we do a bad kid, okay? We cut off their allowance. And that happens by a very simple move. You just got to remember you got to put that money in savings where you draw the interest, not the federal government, until the end of the year and you pay your taxes with it. But you take and you withhold that money from the Federal Reserve for by simply, it's very simple. You ask your employer for a new W-4 form. You fill it out, and at the bottom of it, there's a little box that says exempt. Make sure and check it. And immediately you have lowered the government's allowance, one employee at a time. And if we can get the 81 million people out there that voted for Trump to do that, it would be wonderful. I got to mute me a minute, baby.
you got to
Hello,
mute
Sarah.
yourself.
Well, it did, but it didn't. It didn't hit. It didn't get us.
You
It went.
didn't mute yourself. You just took yourself off of camera. How you doing, Charlie? Okay, now she muted herself. So, like I was just telling you guys until she gets back. Hey, it's already won. It's all a matter of how long are we going to let him have to ride this out, or are we going to make it obvious that it's over? Enough is enough, and we want you to know that we know that everything what's been going on is a wrap. And I think once they really realize that and understand that, I think a lot of this will go away. They still think they have America in some type of hold to where they keep trying to push this unjust agenda towards him because not enough of us are really out here just letting them know that we're not going to stand for it anymore. Let me see, who do we have? Yeah, new beginnings. New beginnings. Looks like we have Mama Mona back on the set.
Everybody out there, if you know anybody or if you're in another chat or something, would you please post that I'm okay? The storms miss me. Apparently, Ray, there's a whole lot of people. I guess Red went live, and everybody was wondering about me because they heard that there was tornadoes in Branson, and I'm okay. Just that's what that call was about. That was Sarah calling me to find out. She says everybody was asking if anybody had heard from you. Well,
Well, y'all make sure y'all put out the word. Mama Mona is A-OK.
yeah, I'm fine. I'm safe, folks. So
Well, that's great to have patriots that care about you like that. They they
you know
they
what?
they, they want to make sure you're okay.
The best thing that ever happened to me in my life was TCP. I got to I got to make such lifetime wonderful human being friends, and it has changed my life forever because I got in touch with people who felt like I do, like you, Ray, that we have the same patriot mindset. And having met people, so many by the thousands that care about our country and care about each other. I mean, I've had 4 phone calls this morning already wanting to know if I'm okay from people I met in TCP. It has been a blessing beyond blessings. And if you ever, any of you out there, I know that those of you that are in the chat, on this chat, understand that we love our country, okay? And we care about our country, and it's going to take us to fix it. We can't depend on some one person to do it. We got to do it. And so show up. Folks, we do this by showing up at our school board meetings. We do this by showing up at our council meetings. We do this by showing up at the governor's office once in a while. You know, take the time. If you're ever in and around your capital, wherever your capital is, take the time to go in and actually speak to your governor, speak to your senators and your representatives. Take the time to get them to know you. And it's the only way our country's designed by constitutional rights is that this country's run by we the people. And we the people for too long have acted like subordinates to elected employees. And that's what they are. Bragg's an elected employee. And you patriots in New York, you need to let him know that he works for you and not for anybody else, like Soros. He don't work for Soros, he works for you. And you got to hold
Well,
him.
until the people in New York, like you say, until they let Braggs know that he works for them, they're going to continue to do exactly what they're doing because basically the mainstream media, the New York media, The New York politicians, I believe they're the only ones pushing this agenda, and New Yorkers are just going along with it. You know,
New York,
they they have.
New Yorkers are a bunch of scared human beings. They're in fear walking down the street. They're in fear everywhere. They live on fear. You got to remember that Americans are supposed to be considered the home of the brave. Okay. How many sit ins have there been in front of ABC, NBC, MSNBC? How many thousands of people have showed up? And I truly believe in sit ins. Okay. You put 1,000 people at their front door sitting down that they can't get out without crawling over you, demanding that they stop the lies, be reporters, be real journalists. It's the media we got to go after. We got to stop this bullshit. Excuse my language, but that's what it is. But you do it by getting a bunch of people together and let's go sit outside New York's ABC office. Sit down. Bring your boombox with you and turn it as high as it'll go on the lowest note you can get. And go sit in front of them and boom, 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 rattle the building, vibrate the building with the noise. What I call demanding to be heard. And you got to get out and do it. You can't sit home on your laurels and do it. I'm fortunate. I live in Missouri. Okay, a really, really, really hard red state. Okay. I live in a state where I can carry a gun openly anywhere. I live in a state that allows me to kill you if you come on my property without permission. We call it castle law. Not every state has that. I'm fortunate to live in Missouri. I really am because of such wonderful people like Josh Hawley and Eric Schmidt. Okay. But you folks aren't got that kind of representation. You haven't got that kind. A lot of y'all have governors like that Dwight that won't even do a declaration of disaster when a town in his state gets poisoned. You got to fight, folks. You ain't going to win this. This isn't a fight you can win looking at your phone playing games.
No, no, you
No,
got that
you
right.
can't win it that way. Okay. Now, I do believe in using the power of the telephone as I consider my phone a, a, my assault weapon. It's my phone. I call them. And I know that every time I call Jeff City or Washington, D.C., my phone call is recorded. It's recorded for posterity. And I call them. I call senators from other states. Okay. I call the president's, I call the White House. I know I get a damn machine or I get some constituent, but at least I made the phone call. My phone number shows up on their phone call log. Everybody needs to start making sure your phone number is on your senators and your representatives' phone call logs. You got to fight with your weapon. It's a
Yeah,
powerful weapon when used by multiple people.
throwing a tantrum just ain't gonna do it. You have to put your emotions into action, which means you have to get involved into your local PTA meetings at school. You got to get involved, and like Mama Mona said, all of the elections that take place, whether we like it or not, our society isn't isn't governed by us. It's governed by people that we allow to represent us. in order to make this country run right. It's basically something that is made to take a load off of us. Don't get me wrong. I think Americans could run the country. It'd be wild. It'd be like having an intersection and a stoplight not working. It
Yeah.
would be chaotic. So we, the majority, elect a minority to take the burden of it off of us. But once you see them leading you into a brick wall, why would you wait to the last 3 yards to try and jump out of a 50-yard, you know, drive? Why wait? You can't wait until election day. This is why I go back. A lot of people sit back. I hear it all the time. Oh man, we're gonna vote him out. We're gonna vote him out. If
Take
you
care of the
sit
ones you've
back,
already voted in. You
yeah,
already
and
you
support
got to
him.
be the boss of the ones you got voted in right now.
Well,
Hopefully, come the next election, you vote in some better people. But in the meantime, you got to stay on the asses of the ones that's already in there every day.
and
Promise yourself
right,
that you make at least 3 phone calls a day to your elected officials. Make one to your governor, one to each 4 calls. Your governor, your 2 senators, and your local representative. Make 4 3-minute phone calls a day. That's a beginning. Hang a flag, make your phone calls, and whenever there is a protest in your town that's protesting something you believe in, and I'm not saying what you believe in, but organize some protests, put some people on the street corners, flying flags and putting out signs. Show up. Don't be the employer, the CEO that never walks through the door of his business. You got to show up. Let him know that you're there. But, Ray, people are too comfortable to do that. It's too easy. It sounds way too easy for them to do that. Gather your friends
yeah,
to go out for dinner, but stop by your city hall and protest for 30 minutes before you go to dinner. Don't take 100 people. 10 people with signs and flags can make a difference. They can raise awareness. Everybody claims that TCP didn't do anything, but they sure woke a lot of people up. Sure
they
made
sure
a lot
did.
of people think. I'm getting on a
Well,
rant here, Ray. You
I
know
don't,
me.
I don't, I don't know if there'll ever be a time like that again. I'm hoping.
I
I had to.
remember this. Okay? I remember this. When 6,000 people, okay, walked underneath an American flag with pride. I remember this. We need to do this everywhere.
Well, we fell under the wrong leadership at that point in time because that is the only time in the past. No, and nothing. That's the only time we've ever had a gathering of patriots. I mean, you had people from all across this nation go to one location, and things
Commit
things
no
things
violence,
things things just didn't turn out the way that they were supposed to turn out, and it's unfortunate. I'll just
but
leave it
we
at that.
raised awareness, and that was the job. And we got rid of the Emergency Declaration Act, don't you? A week ago Friday, honey. Congress and the Senate, by 2/3, voted to get rid of the emergency mandate declaration.
Oh
That's what
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
we went
yeah.
to go fight. We won that battle. Just took us a while. Okay.
Well, that I personally won't. I won't. This is my opinion. I won't put that in the category as us because too much time has lapsed and too many other things has taken place that would have, in
No,
my
it was
opinion, contributed more to
no,
why that
it
took
was us
place.
going and talking in the Senate with Ted Cruz and Ron Johnson and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jim Jordan. It was the TCP people who went to DC, who sat at the table, and they kept we got a few people behind us 100%, and they helped fight the battle in the House and in the Senate. They may have had to wait and fight it. They fought it, and we won. But if we hadn't went, if Brian and Gray Wolf and Dr. Malone and Dr. Lockerup, if those people had not went to DC and went into the Capitol and sat down and talked to the lawmakers, it wouldn't have got done. It got done because we raised awareness with our lawmakers, and then they went to battle for us, as they should, as our employees. It was a long, hard fought battle. It took 2 years, but we won. And that has to be a win for TCP because we're the ones that went in there with a live stream, and we live streamed the whole meeting with the lawmakers, and we made them aware of our feelings. And that was the beginning of the end of the emergency mandate. And that was solely done by our leaders with TCP at the time that they went to DC. So I have to give
Okay.
that credit to them, Ray.
Well, I'll give them credit for the meeting, but as far as giving them credit for why this initiative passed, I'll reserve my judgment on that
Uh,
until I hear more um, on that. Because obviously, if you got that information, I'm gonna reach out to other sources and
Please
and and,
do,
and see.
please do. But it was Ron Johnson
I
and Ted.
remember. I remember because they
But they're the ones when you look at the bill, okay, who initiated the bill, who got it started. It was the men and women that we met in DC that went to battle for us on that,
right.
because they're the ones that pushed it through. So,
Well,
uh,
if it is, kudos to TPC. At least something positive um came out of it. And if that's the case, sooner or later, somewhere down the line, if that's the actual and factual, um, I think Brian Mays needs to come out and let all of those people that were there know that the things that they did and the things that they sacrificed wasn't in vain. That's just my personal opinion.
yeah.
If that's
Well,
the
great.
actual and factual, and his leadership had something to do with what got this passed, the least he can do, and I say this on the air, and I hope it gets to him, is to come out because you still got a lot of people that have a bitter taste in their mouth. Matter of fact, I spoke to 2, 3 truckers over the past 2 weeks because I've been trying to reach out to get a truck to pull some trailers and stuff, and they've told me that you know their situations and all of that stuff, and um, but yeah, that's what he needs to do so people can understand. Okay, we went out there. It might not have got the results that we wanted, but at least at the end of the day, something positive came out of us being there. I'm not gonna put it out there because I don't know that to be the actual and factual of it yet. But once I can confirm it, um, yeah, I'll give TPC all the credit in the world, and I'll blast it on all the platforms and put it out there so they'll know that they had a strong positive leading role in why this initiative got passed.
Yes, and that is why, because uh that was the time when we were really adamant. That's when we did have those thousands of people. We were, I mean, I believe it was like 2 days later we was able to go around the 295 and the nose met the tail. So uh and we kept that initiative going. I mean, I kept making calls. Did you kept making phone calls too, Ray, right? And
No,
that
not on a constant. No, I'm doing so many things, and I can be honest with it. No, I don't make as many as I need, but I'm out there in the community. See, that's one of, I don't know if that's a, not more of a sense of motivation, but sometimes when you're just doing, when you it, I don't want to put too much on my plate. So what I do, no, I don't make the phone calls, but I go and I interact with the community.
Well, I make
And
sure that my elected officials recognize me on the street. Okay. I've been in their face enough. Okay. That if I run into like Larry Milton in the grocery store, he's going to say
mhm.
hi because he recognizes me. Okay. If
Well,
I
see,
run into Mike Parsons somewhere, the governor's going to recognize this face
well,
because,
see, I think me and you have maybe a similar, and correct me if I'm wrong. I live in an area where when I see my local politicians, or I go to the schools, like when my son was just in high school and stuff, we don't, here in Tennessee, I'm not gonna say we hardcore all the way to the Bluetooth red, but where I live, I don't I don't I don't have to deal with standing outside in front of City Hall protesting anything.
well, that's like me.
Do you,
I
do
live,
you, do you understand what I'm saying? There's nothing to, I mean, yeah, I can find something to complain about. We all can find something to complain about, but there's nothing really affecting my local community that makes us have to stand up and get outside in front of some public office and protest.
well, I just see like the next council meeting because I'm having that water drive for Palestine on the 13th, 14th, and 15th here in Branson. Well, I
Right.
needed to see who was going to be mayor because we had a mayor election yesterday, and Larry won again. Didn't matter which one won. I know both of them personally. So uh, now on next Tuesday, before the water drop starts, I'm going to the city council meeting and tell them about it because it's recorded, and people in the city, businessmen and stuff, watch that live from the chamber or the city council meetings, so that everybody gets the word, but that they get the word. I
Right.
it's I want them to know who I am, so that when I talk to them, I can call them by their first name, as I always do, and I can address them as an employer, uh, and not as just a constituent. I'm your employer. Uh, and it's a way for me to, but I don't have to do that in Branson, right? I mean, it's considered the most patriotic city in the United States. So you kind of like preaching to the choir all the time here.
So you're
I really,
basic when you make your calls and stuff, you're basically really honestly and truly making them on behalf of patriots that don't live where you live.
right.
You're
I
you
mean,
you're reaching out to help the country.
and
It
I
ain't like,
don't. I don't only call to complain either. I have been known. I called Josh Hawley just here a while back because of something that he did that I thought was wonderful. You know, the way he
And they
interrogated
respect
my
that.
orcas. Well, the way he interrogated my orcas in in the hearing, I had to call and tell him, "Keep it up, good job, hold their feet to the fire. Thank you, thank you, thank you." And of course, I did it on that machine, but at least I did it. You know, I at least made the phone call to praise him. You know, if you've got an elected official that's up there working for you and doing a good job, they deserve your phone call even more than the ones that are not. They enjoy that. They need that positive uh congratulations, that positive attitude. Thank you for what you're doing. You know, my, when I worked for other people, it always felt good for my boss to come over and say, "Hey, Mona, you've been doing a great job. Thank you so much for being my employee." Oh man,
Right.
I'd put my shoulders back, my chest out just a little bit higher as I went and did my job. So if you got one of those that's up there working for you, give them a call and let them know you appreciate the work that they're doing. If you've got ones that are not doing a good job, call and let them know it. You know, be the employer that calls them on the rug and says, "Hey, that ain't what I voted for. That's not what I wanted you to do."
Well,
But
hey, Mama Mona, I hate to cut this short, but we are getting ready to wrap it up here shortly,
okay,
and I just want to touch on one more topic before we go. Remember, Patriots, y'all like, share, subscribe, ring that bell so y'all can get them instant notifications. You can find the Patriots Lab on all platforms: YouTube, Facebook, MeWe, Twitch, Instagram, Truth Social, Rumble. Um, if it's a platform that'll allow the actual and factual, 9 times out of 10, you'll find your man there. But before we end the show today, last topic I want to touch on is Chicago. Chicago, Chicago, Chicago. What are you people thinking about? You get rid of one mayor that you obviously came to the conclusion that was being self destructive to the city than constructive. And I got happy, if not for a moment, because what do? You turn around and you put another elected official in office that might be just as worse. At least with Lori Lightfoot, you didn't find out about her agenda until it was too late. Y'all actually voted a man in that ran on defunding the police, that didn't have the backing of the police unions. Y'all ran an elected official into office that wants to have CRT in your schools, wants to have the schools to have total control over your children. I, well,
well,
I hate to
maybe
say
in about
people.
an hour or so, they'll get a real good lesson in. They'll get the miracle of a disaster. It looks like they're headed for a big tornado to hit Chicago. So maybe they'll get some wake up.
I don't know. I don't know. Lightfoot, she's still in charge for another 30 days. So um, I just don't see no hope where I once saw hope. Um, it's just another continuing unfortunate saga that Chicago's going to have to go through because he's not going to implement anything that's going to bring any type of
Law and order.
law and order to the criminal system. He's not going to hold any of the people accountable. So they're in for a rough ride. Their rough ride just got rougher. So prayers out to the people of Chicago. I don't know.
Huh?
Y'all voted him in. I mean, I
Or did
understand
they?
what
Or did they?
yeah, well,
That's the
I won't
question.
even I
Did
don't
they?
until I will not be the first one to say that yet. But believe me, when I hear some others on the airwaves that are in the know start chirping, I will definitely be one of the first ones to be on that wagon. That's for sure. But yeah, as far as we know, the people voted him in, and but like you said, Mama Mona, did they? So
Did they?
that's a story for another day. Mama Mona left us with a cliffhanger. Did they vote him in or not? Stay
Or
tuned.
was he installed? Did they vote him in, or was he installed like the guy, the resident in the White House?
Hey, had to take the focus off of Lori Lightfoot somehow.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, Patriots. Stay tuned. Mama Mona, I want to thank you. I
I love you,
appreciate you
darling.
joining today. Love you too. Miss you. Can't wait to see you again, and it's coming sooner and sooner. My car's in the shop. You know what? People told me, Ray, if you get a BMW, maintenance on it ain't like a regular car. Well, I guess I had to touch the fire to really understand that it
Oh,
was hot.
yeah. Yeah.
Because what I
Well,
thought what I thought was gonna be an easy fix didn't turn out to be so easy. But you know what? Patience is a virtue. Everything happens in God's time. And
I'm reserving you a vendor space for November, right?
yes, yes, and I will be there. I will be. I hope to see you way before then. Way before then, and other Patriots also. So hey, also while I'm on that note, if you want the Patriots Lab to come to your town, if you got a cot, because I'm not sleeping in my car, but yeah, if you want the Patriots Lab to come do the show in your town, from your residence, holla at your man, and especially if you got something going on, you got
Well,
to have something going on.
I
You
got,
got to
I,
have something. Got to have something going on though. There's got to be something going on to where.
I've got your tent. I've got your tent, your sleeping bag, your cot for November. I got that.
Okay,
Okay, baby.
okay, but yeah, there's it's gonna be a very the Democrats have made it a very busy summer.
I've
So,
even got the easy up for you, honey.
all right, appreciate it. Well, you enjoy your day, Mama Mona.
I
Enjoy it.
will.
Tell Patriot Nation the lab sends love. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.
All righty, dear. Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, we had Mama Mona today. Appreciate her for tuning in. And remember, y'all like, share, subscribe, ring that bell so y'all can get them instant notifications. And if you too want to be a guest in the Patriots Lab, just hit up your man and we'll make it happen. So hey, from the lab, you already know, either be there or be what? Deuces. We are out.